Alright, here we go. Part 2 of the live editing session. Sorry that it took so long for me to actually call through the photos, but now I'm actually going to go in and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the editing process. So here we go. So now that these photos have been selected, we're going to go in and first things first, we're just going to go ahead and crank down all these highlights so we can get some details back from the sky. And bump up the contrast a little bit, and then increase here, add some shadows, bring that up a little bit, and let's add some warmth, just a tad, because it was kind of a warm day. And we'll bump up the clarity, and I think I like that. We'll bump up the vibrance a little bit. And honestly, like, this is a good enough picture as it is. Let's crop it in a little bit, shall we? I feel like there's just some dead space down here, and we can bring the focus a little bit more into the ladies, into Mr. Judge Baylor over here. So that looks good. That looks fantastic. You guys can kind of see some of the blue coming in, reflecting here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go to my HSL little section here, and we're going to not take out all the blue, but to give it a little bit more of a realistic look. And then let's bring down some of the luminance of the greens to really just make it pop. I like that a lot. And again, I didn't use any off-camera flash, so what I'm going to do is take a little brush here, and we're just going to fill in some exposure to where the ladies pop a little bit more. I like that right there. And then if we want to give it that little matte finish, which is super popular on like Instagram and on the Pinterest, we're just going to go ahead. I've already made a preset for matte finish on here, but basically what it does is here on the tone curve, we just brought the blacks up, but I don't want it that high, so we're just going to bring it down to just about right there. And then maybe bring down the saturation a little bit. But I feel like Katie's a little bit more blonder than that, so we're going to go ahead and bump up the yellows. There we go. I think that looks great. No, maybe mess with the... There we go. Make it a little bit more brighter. I think that looks fantastic. Don't you guys? Yeah. And the good thing is that if you notice as we move along, all my settings are the same in all of these photos. I might zoom in and out of the lens a little bit, but all the settings are the same. 1/320th of a second, apertures at f2.8, ISO 125. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit Command, or for those on Windows, just Control C, and then we're just going to go ahead and copy all of these settings that we just did on this one photo, and we're going to bring it all the way to the end of this section. We're going to shift click, so that way all these photos have been highlighted. We're going to right click, and then we're going to develop settings, and we're going to paste all of these settings. So now it's working, and I think I might have made some adjustments up here, but now as you can see, with just a simple copy and paste, most of these photos have already been taken care of. Again, we did not paste any of the brush settings, so we're just going to go back in and brush in some of the exposure. There we go. And then I don't like to copy the crop, just because either I might have moved or the subjects have moved, so I try not to do that, and I will just go in and individually crop all of these pictures on my own. Just got to make it fix the horizon a little bit, and I think that looks great. And go back in, and again, add some exposure to the subject. There we go. And then this looks fantastic. Again, make sure it's nice and flat. Make sure it's even, nice and centered. Go back in, add some exposure, and then move on. And again, we are speed editing right now. Not necessarily like speed editing, but you know what, we're just trying to get through these. Not for any particular reason, but all of our settings have been copied and pasted, so we don't really need to do much, which just makes the workflow that much easier. We'll just keep moving on, we'll just keep plugging along. Here we go. Bring in some of that. And you know what, for some reason this is a little bit darker, so I'm going to bump the exposure up just one. There we go. Make it flat, crop it in just a little bit, maybe a little bit more. There we go, and done. Moving on. I don't know why these came out a little bit darker. Again, just paint in some of that exposure, and then we'll crop it in, make sure the horizons are flat, and boom. Moving on, we got a nice zoom in this one. So we're going to bring this in because we want to keep the focus on Miss Katie and her coffee. So we're just going to do this, and I think the horizon's even, and maybe just a little bit more. There we go. And then, since this one is really mainly about Miss Katie here, I'm going to make sure she looks the best. I don't really care too much about the background, but I want to make sure she pops just a little bit. And then we're going to take our little brush, and because it's nice and warm here, we're going to fill in some of her eyes and then make her teeth pop as well. And then, you know what? I think she deserves to be a little bit more blonde, don't you? So we're going to do that. We're going to add some blonde back into her hair, because Miss Katie is a beautiful blonde, and we want to make sure that her hair is nice and golden. And pump that up a little bit more. There we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Move up the highlights a little bit. Very nice. I like that a lot. That looks great. All right, moving on. Again, back to our original settings. So we'll just go here. So again, just trying to make this even. And horizontal, that looks great. Both subjects are nice, equal, what do you call it, oh my gosh, rule of thirds, there we go. Rule of thirds right here, we're going to do this. Both of the subjects are right here on the vertical third planes, and then if I move it up a little bit more, I was trying to see if I can get the top of the statue to break the middle of the photo, but you know what? That is not a deal breaker. We're just going to go ahead and accept that and move on. We're going to go ahead and take our brush, go back here, and I believe we were at 0.3 exposure, and just go in and paint some of this back in here, make it nice and bright. That's a little too bright. I go 0.2, looks great, looks fantastic. And again, I don't know why Katie needs to be more blonde. But I don't want to pop up too much of the orange. Let's go back to 15 and just go in here, and we're going to paint some of this. There we go. There we go. Very nice. And then moving on. And then same thing over here. Make sure it's flat. Bring it in. Subjects are nice and evenly placed on the rule of thirds lines. And we'll do that. Put some blonde back into Miss Katie's hair. And then bring in some of those exposure Just paint it in ever so slightly. Do. And boom shakalaka. Moving on. Oh, well, this is good. I don't even think we have to do much. I think it looks like some of the exposure just came back in on its own. I'll bring this in just a little bit more, just like we were doing. Looks great. Might as well. Just keep it consistent. Just go ahead and paint that all back in there. And then make Miss Katie blonde. There we go. And then this one we can, oh no, I don't want to cut off her toes. That is not quite horizontal. That's okay. I would rather, okay, that's as close as I'm going to get to making it horizontal without cutting off any toes. And we'll go in and start off with the blonde. And then go in, paint some of that exposure back in there, and then moving on. And then same thing. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. Make it nice and even. Bring it down. Oopsies. There you go. That's what I meant to do. 15. There you go. Perfect. Da. And boom. All right. Okay, so for these ones, I know that we had already copied and pasted our settings from before. However, the settings from the camera are the same, but since we were shooting more into the sky, we were definitely getting a lot more light into the sensor, which is why these photos appear to be a lot brighter. So we're just going to make a couple of adjustments here. What do I want to do? Okay. That looks fine. We're gonna definitely make this a little bit more warmer. There we go. There, that looks a lot better. We're gonna put some tint in here. There we go. And then my sister looks really tan in this particular set. I think this is super cute. I like the fact that they're listening to his vital signs. There we go. And then again, we're just going to ensure that Miss Katie stays blonde throughout this entire process. And then, I don't even feel like, oh, haha, that's what happened. There we go. Let's try this again, shall we? There we go. There's that blonde. Yeah, it's just really dark. Well, it's a combination of oranges and reds, so if we bring the reds up, and luminance, a little bit of the orange, there we go. That looks a little better. Yeah. And then now that we've readjusted our settings, we're going to go ahead and copy this one, and then paste. Yep. Already looks 1,000 times better. I like it. And just to be sure, I'm just going to go individually on these instead of doing a mass paste like I did last time. These turned out really well. I like them a lot. Oh, look, we got a bird. Yeah, a bird photo bomb in this one. Nope, I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. Making it nice and warm. There we go. All right. Now let's work backwards, and let's go and do this. Making sure everything is horizontal and even. Make sure our horizon is level. And I don't think I shot this one completely straight on. And you can tell because this sides of the square thing here are not even. But it's still a good picture, so we're just going to go with it. Bring this in just a tad. There we go. Nice and even. Moving on. And then you know what? We're just going to go ahead and get rid of this bird right here. It's a very simple thing that we can do. We're going to go ahead and hit our spot remove tool. We're just going to go in here and we're just going to go boop. And boom. Bird's gone. No more photobomb. Sorry about ya. Yeah, these look good. Let's see. Is there anything I want to do with this one? Maybe just adjust a little bit. And then, you know what? Let's bring the shadows down a little bit. I feel like this could use a little bit of depth. Bringing the blacks down just a smidge. There we go. And then we're just gonna add just a little bit of exposure back in the faces. And these little creases here. There we go. Fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and make the eyes and teeth pop just a little bit on Miss Katie. There we go. Bring that smile out. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Some of that, and then some of that, and then boom. And that looks fantastic. Moving on. Again, we adjusted our settings. We're just going to go ahead and copy and paste and go in here and paste it into there. And then, again, so we're going to, since we started off with the faces last time, or since we ended with the faces last time, we're going to start off with the faces this time. And then we're just going to go back here and then bring some exposure back to the faces and just little creases. But we want to keep the blacks as dark as possible. It creates depth. It makes the image a little bit more realistic. There we go. That looks great. And then this one's good. We're just going to bring it in just a smidge. Looks great. And then we got my sister here. She didn't want to climb all the way down and climb all the way back up. So we're going to go ahead and take our spot remove tool and come on down. And poof, she's gone. And then same thing here. Take our spot remove tool, paint her all the way down, and poof, she's gone. Looks fantastic. Kind of wish I had taken a step a little bit more this way, because now we're seeing the side of the mausoleum statue thing over here. So I should have stepped over, but there's nothing we can do at this point. So we're just going to go ahead and go with all this, and looks great. Love the facial expressions. That's awesome. Okay, moving on. All right, so 20 minutes in, and we are a quarter of a way done with this editing. So we'll just go back. Okay. And I still haven't adjusted my settings. So looking at these photos, right? So here's the last photo that we've taken in front of the statue. 1/320th of a second, f2.8, ISO 125. Moving on, again, all the same settings. I obviously didn't even have to change my camera one bit. So let's go ahead and let's see what happens if we go ahead and copy these settings, go in here and paste it in here. What happens? It's a little too warm, right? because again, we had something that had way more light coming into the sensor than in here. Like this guy, you can't even see it, so it's only natural that the temperature is going to change a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and double tap to reset everything, but then this is too cool for me, so we're just going to re-warm it up to the point that we like it. I'd say right about there looks great. The blacks are too crushed, so what if I want to keep the contrast relatively there, bring the blacks up just a little bit. No, yeah, I want to keep the shadows kind of there. Clarity, everything looks great. If we bring this up just a little bit, there we go. I think that looks fantastic. Very nice. I like that. And then exposure, yeah. Mess with the tone curve just a little bit. Is this a tan line I'm seeing, Miss Katie? Ugh, I'm gonna have to blend that in Photoshop. Ugh. Oh well. And then for this one, you know what? Since there shouldn't be anything that's blue, we're just going to go ahead and take the saturation of the blue and completely crush it, right? So here you are, you can see in the HSL tool here where the blues are, and then that comes just from the natural shadows, and we're going to go ahead and crush it so that way the stress stays as white as possible. And then again, like the blue that you see coming off of here are natural blues that appear just coming from the sun rays, but again, crushing it down like this and eliminating as much of it as possible allows the whites to be more white, and I think it just makes the photo pop way more. And I think it's just the difference between like taking the same picture on a phone and having a professional like myself go through it, editing them, is being able to recognize the hues and the hints of blue that appear from shadows and being able to bring them down. Again, it's just about taking it to the next level, and just really just making the photos pop. And again, we're just going to go ahead and put some blonde back into Miss Katie's hair here. There we go. And then, you know what, while we're at it, I wonder what happens if we go in and try to blend in this tan. That's a bit much. What if we bring this down and then bring the highlights down just a little bit? That looks a little better. And then, oh, nope. I just blend it in a little bit more without having to go into Photoshop. Let's try. No, we already have max feather. Bring down the whites a little bit. And then maybe increase the saturation a tad. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to have to fix this in Photoshop, just because this part here needs to be blended in, and right here in the shoulder blade as well. But we can get as close as possible. Oh, that looks better. Yeah. And then if we kind of just blend in the whole back, I think that looks good too. No, I don't like how that last one turned out. We're just going to go ahead and delete that action. Yep, I think this is a job for Photoshop. So we're just going to go ahead and pop that out a little bit, and we'll save this for later. What is this over here? So as you see on the back of her leg, we got some shadowing. Again, the cool shadowing. This is just natural. There's no discoloration of the skin or anything like that, but using this color selection tool, we can see how that looks. So it's being highlighted as magenta and a couple reds. And so what if we take our red hue slider, slide it to orange a little bit, and then we take our magentas and make it more red. That looks better. And then I don't want to do that. There we go. That looks good. There we go. And then we'll go in here. Maybe not 20. Maybe let's just see what 10 does. We go in here. Add some orange. Warm it up a little bit. That looks good. There we go. Fantastic. All right. Okay, so now, kind of the same thing that we did earlier. Now we've kind of set our settings for this. So we're just going to go ahead and Command C or Control C for those who are on Windows. And then we're going to go all the way to the very end of this session. And again, just I'm pretty sure all of the settings are the same. Didn't touch anything. But this one is significantly darker because we went to the other side of the sidewalk for this one. So we'll just, since this was all on the same side, we're just going to go in here and highlight all of these. And we're going to go ahead and right click, and we're going to go to Develop Settings, and we're going to paste settings. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get pretty spot on. Like that's good. All right, we're just gonna go back in, and looks like, and see, like the tan on her back looks much better in some of these other photos. So, thank God. In this one, yeah, we'll have to fix that one, but in this one, not so much. So a little bit in this one, but it shan't take long. So we're just gonna go ahead and go back to 20, and we're going to go ahead and put some blonde back in Miss Katie's hair. There we go. Same thing here. Some more blonde. And you know what? This could actually use a little bit of an exposure increase, just because I think they're just further along in down the walkway. There we go. Do some of that. And same here, just a little bit increase in the exposure, and then bring it in. You know what? I feel like this one deserves a nice close-up. There we go. That looks cute. That looks super fantastic. There we go. Yeah. And again, bring these in. I love, okay, so one of my favorite things about these photos, in any sort of like walkway photos, actually, I think I intentionally left this one kind of crooked, or at what we call the Dutch angle. But I love how the sidewalks right here, plus the trees overhanging, and then we got this tree on this side, create a natural frame within the photo, and it just keeps it focus onto the subjects, onto the seniors, and it just really draws your eyes in, and especially when you got the leading lines of all of this kind of just points into the center of the photo, just naturally leading lines, and I think it's just fantastic. Here we go. I'm going to warm this one a little bit because for some reason it's a little cooler than I like. And we're going to zoom in this one. Yep. And again, we're going to straighten this one, even though I shot it intentionally at a Dutch angle, only because we got these, which are a little bit more fun. And again, I don't know why her face is these photos are cooler than expected, so we're just going to go in and copy and paste the settings. Add a little bit of red in the tint. There we go. It looks great. Oh, and you know what? We forgot. Yep, I have been forgetting. How could you guys forget, or let me forget to put some blonde back in your hair? Shame on you guys. What am I going live for if you guys aren't here to hold me accountable? There we go. Adding some blonde back into her hair. There we go. And then a little bit more exposure. Yeah, I like that. That looks real nice. So again, we readjusted our settings, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy that for all the future photos. And yep, we're going to bring this one in as well. There we go. And then paste. Bring this in just a little bit more centered. And then this one, I don't know. I feel like this one should be like a straight one. I don't know why. I just feel like it should be. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Sometimes you just gotta go with whatever your artistry just feels like it. And you know what? Maybe later on I might look at these photos and you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should have left it at an angle. But right now, that's what I'm feeling. And so that's what we're going with. I feel like this should be a little bit darker. Well, maybe not this, but the shadows? Yeah, let's bring some of that in. There we go. That's cute. And again, I keep forgetting to add the blonde. There we go. Perfect. Ooh, too bright, too bright. Bring the exposure down. There we go. Boom. What happens if we go the other way? Nope, I don't like it. There we go. And then these ones are super cute. So this one, yeah, we'll leave this one at the Dutch angle just because she's being cute, she's being fun, she's being flirty with the camera, so we don't necessarily have to keep it specifically straight. And I think what I'm noticing is that there's in fact there's another statue, or there's like a building over here that's actually reflecting some light that's coming in from the sun, which is over here to the camera left. The structures over here on the right is actually reflecting some of that sun back into the subject's face, which is where you can kind of see, even though the glow of the sun is on this side of the photo, we're getting some fill light in here, which is making the photo rather fantastic, actually. And we go in here and brighten up the eyes and the smile. Just gets us a little bit more closer to the camera. There we go. Nice and warm. Bring it down just a little bit. Yep. Ooh, no, I'm starting to cut off some toes. Don't cut off toes. There we go. I'll just bring this in. There we go. I'm not sold. I think that's how I want it. A little bit more centered, maybe. Bring it in. Just a tad. There we go. And then you see, yeah, here, this is the photo I was telling you about earlier, right? So when I took this photo, first of all, it's like super bright. We're going to bring this down just a tad. Whenever I cut off the toes, well, we're just going to go ahead and pretend that I didn't cut off the toes, and we're just going to go ahead and zoom this right at her shins. And you know what? We'll fix the Dutch angle because I'm not sold on it on this one. And you know what if we even go like to her knees? What if we just did this? I think that looks great. I think I went too far to the side because she is leaning. But do I want her to lean in the final image? I don't know. Cannot decide. I just split the difference. Yeah, let's keep her leaning a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's just do that. Yep, moving on. This is good. We got full body. Pace the settings. Yeah, I keep forgetting that I decrease the exposure. We're just going to go ahead and copy those settings now. And bring this down again. Just nice and zoom. And you know what? I feel like this deserves an up close. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to create a virtual copy. And we just made a copy of the same photo, but this one we're going to crop. Oh, nope. Okay, there we go. This one we're just gonna go. We're going to intentionally cut off her hand. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, let's cut off her hand. And let's go to about right there, just because I think this is a really good photo of Miss Katie. I think deserves a little bit more attention. There we go. Oh, but that's way too blurry now. Yep, this is what happens when you go too far. Okay, well, there we go. Let's just do this. Yeah, there we go. Right above her knees. I think that's great. Let's end on that one. And then we got my sister. Warm it up. Yep, there we go. Brighten it up. And then let's go ahead and pop out the photobombing squirrel. Oh, this one might be a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's just do... If we do this, and then we move it over here. Balls. Okay, well, what if we just clone it instead of healing it? Nope, can't do that either. Stupid squirrel, photobombing my photos. Oh, what if we just use this section over here? I think this might be better off. Huzzah! I think that worked out well. I mean, if you didn't know there was a squirrel there in the first place, I don't think you. All right, I'm gonna give this one more try. We're just gonna go ahead and start over, and you know, where's that feather? We're gonna increase our feather to maximum feather, and we're just gonna go in and poof. That looks better. Yeah, now it just looks like there's like dirt on the ground, on the pathway a little bit. Maybe I just bring it down. There we go. Looks great. Moving on. Hey Katie, you are most welcome. I mean, you are blonde, and so let's keep it that way, yeah. Rather than any platinums or whites or grays, we definitely don't want that. So let's keep you blonde, shall we? Anyways, hope you're enjoying this live editing of your photos. It's the first time I've ever done a live edit on Facebook, so hope you guys are just as entertained by this as I am. And see, here's a problem. Now that I've edited the one squirrel, I feel like I need to edit out all the squirrels. Okay, we got one more photo. Okay, but then we got a dude back here. Ugh, this is just frustrating. Okay. What to do? You know what? I'm committed. I've already committed. I've already edited out one squirrel. We have to edit out all the other squirrels. So let's go in here, and again, just like zoom in. That looks good. I feel like we can go a little bit more. There we go. All right. Let's get rid of the squirrel. I think that looks all right. And if we just get rid of the shoes, will that turn out okay? I don't know what to do with this guy. I might have to leave this dude. Just because it's just kind of a weird edit. Oh, this might turn into something. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's very carefully go around my sister's shoulders. Here we go. Oh, we got way over here. Okay, let's go back this way. Let's It's because of this. There's just like a bush right here, and that it's just frustrating. Blarg. There's this little piece of white over here. Go back to heal. I don't know, guys. I might not be able to get this guy out. At least not here in Lightroom. I feel like this will be a Photoshop thing. Blarg. Blardy blardy blard. Okay. Or maybe I'm just too attention to detail. I don't know. It should be fine. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna fix it later. These look good. We'll go in. Just bring it in a little bit more. Actually, I feel like we should get like a nice wide shot. Let's go back to that Dutch angle, shall we? And then just get some more green. There we go. Just for funsies, because we had a couple good ones in there. Yeah. I feel like she should be a little bit more centered. This one would be like excellent for like a graduation card. Yeah. Put some words, some stuff up here. And then I feel like this one can be a nice zoomed in one on this one. If it did let's do a half body on this one, or 3/4 of a body on this one. Let's really get that cropped in and get rid of. And you can see what's cool is that my sister's dress acts as a natural reflector. So we got here on her arm, we got the sun coming in this way. We got another light source here being reflected off of her dress. She is a little white though, a little pasty up in the face. So we're going to, first of all, warm up the entire image, and then we're gonna go back to our luminance. We're gonna bring the orange is down, and maybe the reds also. Get her lips back on. I don't know why the magentas are up, and then we'll even go in and just bring down the highlights and our little brush. Now we're just gonna brush in some warmth. Add a little bit of warmth. There we go. Ta-da! Here we go. Huzzah! Very nice. And then, you know what? Since we have a nice zoomed in image, we're just going to go ahead and bring some of that white from her eyes out. Make it pop a little. Don't really need to do much with her teeth because her teeth are just nice and pearly whites. But since we warmed up the image, I think her teeth are coming out a little yellow. So we're just going to go in and cool it down. Make sure it stays white. Perfect. Love it. Love this image. And moving on. And then because we changed that, we'll go ahead and copy and paste these settings in here. Perf. And again, what is happening here? We're getting some dead oranges. I don't know why this section of her face just looks desaturated. Is it the blues? It can't be the blues. There's no way. Well, let's go back to, I think we had this at like 10, and we're doing this at like -15. Oh, no, just kidding. -15, I believe that's what we were at. And then we're just going to go ahead and fill in some of these here on her chin and on her face. And I think I just bump up the saturation a little bit. And then go in and bring out the whites in her eyes. There we go. Boom. Much better. There we go. Looks great. And again, we still got this random dude in the back, which is annoying. Pisses me off. Bring that in a little bit more. I feel like we could, yeah, there we go. Maybe not so much angle. There we go. Doing the Heisman / catwalk. It's like the Heisman catwalk over here. And then all this gloriousness. There we go. I'll just, yep. Fill in all of this with some warmth. Maybe not that much. That's a bit much. Yeah, let's just go to 20. There we go. Alright, it is 5:52. I've been live for 2 episodes now, and almost 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, let's go ahead. Okay, since we did talk about this earlier, I want to end on this note. So in the earlier episode, or in the earlier live, when I was selecting this photo, I was explaining how the client specifically wanted this photo, and I don't normally pose my subjects facing the sun. But that's just something that's been a family tradition, according to the client, according to Miss Katie here. And so I had her, you know, I was against it because I don't normally do it, but since it's what the client wants, and I'm, you know, in these situations, it is a customer service kind of thing, had to do what the client is requesting. So in order for me to get her properly balanced, the exposure be properly balanced on her, the background had to be completely dark. So, or else, if we go into the original, right, where I was trying to balance for the background, it just wasn't going to happen. She was completely blown out, completely, the highlights on her face, and just, yeah, everything was just, it was obviously not a very flattering photo, as you guys can see. So I went ahead and properly balanced for her face, and as I stated in the earlier live show, there's so much more information in shadows than there is in highlights, right? And so if I go in here, right, we're just going to go ahead and use this as the bad example. Okay, so if I go in here and try to bring down the highlights, it just, it looks so I don't even know how to describe it. It's not as flattering. You can kind of see all the like the individual imperfections on the face. However, having it properly balanced in here, we can bring down the highlights not as much, and she still looks fantastic. And then we bring up the shadows. Look what happens. And then decrease the contrast. There's just so much more information in shadows than in highlights. And so what I want to do with this one is do that. And then we're going to bump up our saturation. And it's a little warm for my taste, so we're just going to knock this down a little bit. And then bring out more of the background. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that she is properly exposed and edited. And then what I'm going to do then is take our brush tool, and we're just going to go ahead and bump up the exposure. I don't know, 0.5. Let's just start from there. And then we're just going to go in and paint some of this exposure back into the image, like Bob Ross. We're just gonna paint. We're just gonna paint. La da da da. And again, because in shadows everything is cooler versus everything that's in sun is a lot warmer. There's just so much contrast between cool and warmth that we're going to go ahead and warm up the background as well to where it's a nice even warmth throughout the entire image. And you know what? There we go. That looks good right there. Yep, perfect. And we can even take it even further than that. And then now the entire image is just a tad on the warm side. It's balanced, but I think it's just a little too warm. So now we're going to take the entire image and we're going to cool it down just a little bit. And then this is what the client wanted, which looks a lot better than before. So here's the before image. Here's what we're roughly going to end up with. Not entirely sold. I might go back in and play with this later. However, I just wanted to make a point that as much as I was against this particular pose, because again, I don't pose my subjects facing the sun. This is what the client wanted, and so that's what the client's going to get. Let's go back in here and warm it up some more. Now I've kind of messed with it a little bit. There we go. Okay. I don't know, guys. I want to do some more. Like, I like the shadows because it gives it depth, but I feel like we could blend it in a little bit more. And I think we're getting some blues around here because, again, like the shadows are behind her. So we're going to go in and we're going to go back and we're going to desaturate the blues again, make sure it's not too big of a deal. Yeah, or maybe we aren't getting any blues. It just looks like blues. Yeah, no, it's there. There we go. Maybe bring down the aquas as well. And then pump up the greens. And what color is... even her dress is registering as blue. That's very interesting. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay, so some of her dress is actually blue. So, you know what? If we go into the hue, and let's change the aqua to a little bit more green. There we go. Very nice. I like it. Hi, Maria. Thank you so much. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Okay. I think this is where the final image is going to be, I feel like it's a little too bright. Now we're going to take that off. Okay. What do you guys think? I think that's good. I think I like that where it is. And here is a before and after of, again, me properly exposing for the subject as best as I could. Again, this was shot at 6:40, right in the sunset. And again, in order to get the subject properly balanced or properly exposed, I had to undershoot. The background is going to be completely dark. But again, because there's more information in shadows than in highlights, this is the final image that we're going to end up with. And I think it looks pretty great. I don't know what else I can play with. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let me know what you guys think. Here, for me personally, are the photos that I like. Here, we have some sun rays coming in. That's what we call just sun haze, sun bleeding, light bleed into the image because the sun was just hitting the camera, hitting the sensor as I was taking this image, and so that's why it looks as hazy as it does, which is a very simple fix using this tool right here calling dehaze. We'll just go in here and we'll fix this. And we'll increase the clarity. That way she pops out. There we go. We'll warm it up. Increase the contrast, just make sure she really just like pops. And shadows, whites, vibrance. I feel like saturation might be a bit much. Again, let's go ahead and keep Miss Katie blonde. Give her some color in her hair. There we go. Oh, I feel like we overshot that one. Where's that mask? There we go. And we'll just delete some of this extra warmth. So we don't get some weird halo effects on her hair. There we go. That looks great. And then add a little bit of red. Make it pop. Yep. And then bring the blacks down. Increase the exposure. And then, what else do I want to do? Yeah, let's bring some of the whites in her eyes back. I'll just paint it in here. There we go. And then whiten her teeth just a little bit as well. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I feel like that might be a little too bright, so maybe we'll bring the exposure down a little bit. And you know what? Since it's a very warm image, we're just going to go ahead and decrease these by -15. That looks fantastic. That looks pretty great. Let's go in here and let's get rid of some of these chromatic aberrations. But then it looks a little too bright. And we'll just, yeah, there we go. Looks great. I feel like it's just a little too warm for my taste. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I agree, John Andrew. That the sun is a bit much, which is why I kind of like this picture more, because I definitely was able to get the camera out of the sun. We're just going to go ahead and crop this in here. I think this will look a lot better. And I think I love how we have foreground roses in here. But I want to, since we have this ray of highlights coming in, we're just going to go ahead and pretend we're just going to even that out with this top rule of thirds, and we'll bump the exposure up, decrease contrast, decrease the highlights, we'll warm up the image quite a bit, right, crush the blacks, pump up the highlights just again to really just make her pop out of the image. We're going to dehaze this even more. Let's keep warming it up. Maybe too much dehaze. There we go. I think I warmed it too much. Sometimes I go a little too far. And then let's go here. Yep. Make her eyes and her smile pop. Come on. There we go. And then time to add some of that blonde back into her hair. Do. Boom. Oh, that looks great. I'm really pleased with this image. I like this one a lot. And you know what? What happens? Let's pop some vibrance. Let's pop some saturation in here. Let's go in here, and we got some reds, we got some magentas. Okay, so then let's do this. Let's pop the magentas. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at those colors pop. Boom, 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 boom. I'm digging this. I'm digging this a lot. Let's bring the greens down. There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, this is looking. This. The more I mess with this, the better it's turning out. I'm digging this a lot. I think we forgot to. Yep, we forgot to decrease the warmth in these. There we go. Boom. Like it. Love it. Want some more of it. Where's my tone curve? Let's go back to my tone curve. Do we have? Oh, we did not. You know what? Let's go ahead and add that matte finish in here, and let's not go crazy. Let's bring it down to about like 8%, just a little bit. Yeah. Let's mess with it just a little bit. Oh, I like this a lot. This is turning. Oh, okay. We're done. This is it. This is it. Yep, that's the final image right there. Just maybe fix it up just a little bit, and boom. All right, we're going to end on that one, guys. I have been live for a while, so thank you all for joining me on this live editing session. Hope you guys like it. If you do, I am planning on doing some more of this because it's one of those things that as I'm watching more people go live, playing video games, literally just like standing there in front of the camera, putting on makeup, playing with their hair or whatever, and I'm like, you know what, why can't I do the same thing, right? If I'm just going to be sitting here editing photos, and people have a ton of editing questions anyway, so I'm like, well, you can see my workflow, you can see how I do things, and whether or not you're a photographer, or if you're just like, just really curious about photography and, how we do things. I was like, you know what, like, why not show the behind the scenes? Why you guys see so many of my shoots behind the lens when I'm actually like shooting the photos, when I'm on set, but not very many people actually see how the post-production process actually turns out. So I hope this is just, gives you guys a better idea, a better perspective of, what it's like to be a professional photographer. Obviously, like, it's taken me an hour just to call through the photos. We ended up with, out of 441 photos, we ended up calling almost 150 of them. And just in the hour, a little over an hour that I've been live for the second time today, we've gotten through this many edits, and so yeah, it takes some time. It's not, and then plus, like, this shoot, I think we got there a little late. We were supposed to get there at 5:30. I think we got there like closer to like 5:45, 5:50, and then I left Waco super late. I was supposed to leave at like 7:15 ish, and so either way, like, we shot for a good 2 hours almost, plus another hour of just selecting the photos, and then an hour of editing, and I've only edited half the photos. So in all, it's taken close to 4.5 hours as it is, and I'm still not done, so it just kind of shows you guys how much effort and how much time it takes to actually go through a professional session in order to deliver the final images. So hope you guys enjoy that. Let's see here. Hi, sister. I don't know which photo you're talking about. I don't know which one that we were necessarily editing at the time. And then hi, John Andrew. Filipino adult drinks? What sort of Filipino adult drinks are you thinking of? Are you thinking about? I'm very curious. I know a lot of Filipino drinks are they're known for their beers. If you've ever had Red Horse, it's kind of a staple in the Philippines. Red Horse and San Miguel. San Miguel is a little bit on the lighter side. Red Horse is basically malt liquor, but they call it a beer, but it's equivalent to an American malt liquor, which is, the first time I had Red Horse, I found that out in the hard way. But anyways, I'm not sure why you're screaming no. Food, something with banana? A banana with an adult drink with a banana in it? That's Filipino? Like a smoothie with some rum? I don't know, man. You tell me. I mean, even it doesn't matter where in the world I go to. My go-to drink is a whiskey Coke. So it doesn't matter if I'm in the U.S., the Philippines, Ireland, Canada. A good old whiskey Coke is just my go-to drink. So, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end on this note because I don't want this live video to go longer than it should have. But again, if you guys like this, like to watch me edit and watch my workflow, please let me know. Give me a comment, give me a thumbs up, show some love. And if you guys like it, I'll keep doing it. So until next time, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. The sunshine is finally out, and hopefully we have a better week this week. Shout out to anyone who was affected by any of the hail that hit the northern part of DFW. Hope you guys are all okay. But till next time, I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday and a great rest of your week, and I'll be back soon with some more lives. Until then, you guys have a good one.